Child sex abuse. Police guarded paedophile ring, claims victim. A woman has claimed police officers stood guard while she was sexually abused by a paedophile ring, which included a well-known politician. Esther Baker is the latest in a line of alleged victims of child abuse to waive their right to anonymity in a bid to bring abusers to justice. Now 32, Miss Baker said she was sexually abused by the politician and other senior figures, including a man she believes was a lord, at a beauty spot in Staffordshire and a number of nearby homes. She told Sky News that police officers even joined in the abuse when she was assaulted from the age of 6 in the 80s and 90s. There were a few occasions where they would be in uniform, and I kind of knew, I learnt, that when they were in uniform that it was going to be a rough night, she said. So police stood and watched and protected the abusers, including a well-known MP, possibly a lord, and sometimes the police even joined in the abuse themselves. Just what else is going to come out about how disgusting our political elite are, and how they have been protected for years by police, judges, the establishment, other politicians, and MI5. MI5, politicians, who we are told are the pillar of our society, judges, lords, and police have been protecting child rapists. Just think about that. As a normal human being, this will make your stomach churn. Take MI5 for example. We know from Ken Livingstone that MI5 were filming kids being raped in Ireland to try and catch Irish politicians in the act to use as blackmail.
I was raising in Parliament up against Mrs Thatcher, the Kincora Boys Home, where boys were being abused, and MI5 was filming it because they were hoping to be able to blackmail senior politicians in Northern Ireland. They were hoping to catch one of Ian Paisley's MPs, and they never did, and give themselves some leverage. So the truth is there's been an awful lot of covering up of paedophiles and paedophile rings for decades and decades.
And we also know they were protecting the likes of fat bastard Cyril Smith. Just how many of Margaret Thatcher's cabinet were child sex abusers? The security services will have known about their lust to rape small children, but decided that instead of prosecuting them, they would protect them. Why are people not calling for Andrew Fatty Four Eyes Parker, the head of MI5, to have a root and branch inquiry into who knew what within the organisation? The Nasty Party, the Tories, are about to rush through legislation that means you and I will have everything we do electronically monitored. Every phone call listened to, every email read, every text message read. It's all mostly by computers looking for keywords, but still, it's being read. And all this in case we're planning to hurt the government or abuse kids. Despite the FBI admitting that no major cases cracked with Patriot Act snooping powers, they still want and tell us they need this power. MI5 want to monitor everything we do, and they even say that they want to monitor everything we do to catch child abusers, child sexual abusers. Well, go to Westminster, have a look at their emails. Don't come to me, mine are boring as shit. But if they do find any of these abusers, and they happen to be part of the establishment, MI5 protect them. They actually protect these people from prosecution. MI5 simply isn't fit for purpose. But you can bet your bottom dollar that when ISIS attack the UK, an attack that the government will be rubbing their hands together when it happens, because it will allow them to turn the UK into a total police state in the name of saving us from the very terrorists that we via NATO have been arming, funding and training into existence. But when this ISIS attack happens, we will be told that MI5 are doing all they can to hunt down the culprits. But remember, that this is the same MI5 that have been protecting child rapists for years. Why should we trust MI5 when, one, they've been filming children being raped, and we know this as fact, two, they didn't bother reporting the fact that they'd filmed kids being raped to the police, and three, they'll probably, like almost every other attack in the Western world, they'll probably know the people who've carried it out. Remember they offered Michael Adebolajo, one of Lee Rigby killers, a job? Clearly, MI5 is not there to keep the public safe. They're there to keep the establishment safe and to help forward the establishment's agenda. Child sex abuse. Give whistleblowers immunity, says MP. Police officers and spies who come forward with information about the alleged Westminster paedophile ring must be given immunity from prosecution for breaking the Official Secrets Act, an MP has urged. Now, what on earth is child sex abuse covered under the Official Secrets Act for, unless there's been one almighty cover-up? Just think about that. MPs, lords, judges, top police officers and other establishment figures have been raping children, but instead of prosecuting them, it's been placed under the Official Secrets Act to protect the perpetrators and not to protect or get justice for the victims. This is incredible! Just how deep does the rabbit hole go? Are we really talking about the royal family being involved? Is that why a known paedophile like Jimmy Savile was great mates with Prince Charles and Prince Philip? Was he supplying them with children to be raped at the palace? It's obvious that Alison Saunders, the Director of Public Prosecutions, was told not to charge Jana because this old child rapist could spill his guts whilst on trial, because what would he have to lose? And the establishment simply can't have that, because this could bring down the system if people finally understood the scale of child abuse that is going on within our establishment. Mark my words, if Jana is allowed to be tried, if he's put on trial, I bet you he dies just before he makes it to the stand. Just like Leon Britton. I'm not calling conspiracy at the moment about Britain, but when Jana dies as well, then we all should call conspiracy. Sometimes I'm ashamed to be a British citizen. How much will we take? Why haven't we stormed Downing Street about this? I will never know. I talk a lot about storming Downing Street because it's the only way we're going to change anything. A petition does nothing. Tweeting does nothing. Liking something on Facebook, nothing. Making these stupid videos clearly does nothing. Action is what we need. Massive civil disobedience. Everybody doorstepping their MPs about this subject. Make their lives unbearable with real questions. Don't leave it up to the journalists. They're bought and paid for. They wouldn't know a decent question if it came up and smacked them on the face. Storm our leaders. Storm Downing Street. They will have to act then. Have we got to fight for this? Or are we going to allow the establishment to get away with raping our kids?